And welcome back, y'all, to X4 Tides of Avarice. This is Old Man Gib, and in this video, we're going to talk extensions / mods. Now, if you're not sure what it is, if you're new to PC gaming or new to gaming in general, a mod or an extension is a piece of software that somebody with a lot more smarts than me has written to either improve the quality of life of a game, maybe fix some bugs or glitches in the game, or make the game a lot easier or harder, or just straight up cheats. Now, in X4, I'm using some mods or extensions. You can see up here it says it's modified. Throws that tag on there. So what that does is if the online features were working with the game, it would prevent me from being able to participate in that. That's all. Now, when you come to the extensions, the first thing is it has the DLC. Cradle of Humanity, Split Vendetta, Tides of Avarice. Okay, those are the DLC. Then down here I have the mods or extensions, that I'm using for this game. Now, most of these are just for personal preference. Most of them are quality of life things. Some of them could be considered cheats. That comes down to a personal preference. Some people really dislike mods. They're purists. You play only vanilla. That's it. End of story. Others, like myself, don't mind certain mods, but I try not to make it so easy on myself that it ruins the playability of a game and makes it boring. So what I've done is the ones I'm using, okay, and you can find these either on the Steam Workshop or on Nexus. I use Auto Trader. What Auto Trader does is it helps the AI ships be able to trade more efficiently in the game, because the native vanilla game trading sucks. Then I've got the Viable Astrid, which I still have to do certain things. It's not just a freebie. And but it makes it so that I can have more than just one copy of the ship. The cheat menu, now this one is debatable. However, I will say the only reason I use this cotton picking thing is because there are times in this game where either you or your AI pilot will be flying along, and all of a sudden you're stuck in the middle of a station or the middle of a big honking asteroid, and no matter what, you can't get out. You can get up. You can let your AI pilot try and fly it. You can turn around and not look, and it won't do nothing. You're stuck there. So you can either, like me, when you forget to save for hours and hours, go back and lose all kinds of gameplay to restart an old save. You can pull up a autosave, which may or may not help you depending on how your settings are and where you were at when it auto saved. Like you could have been in the middle of a real bad fight that, and all of a sudden, you're having to jump back into that fight. So what this does is this cheat menu has a function in there called jump. It lets me select my ship, a destination, and simply jump it there, and it would be docked. That's all I use it for. Crystal cooldown remover. Now this one is because the vanilla game mining crystals was nerfed tremendously. And so what they did is, after you mined a crystal, didn't matter what color it was, all the crystals became the purple crystals, which were the least valuable, and it stayed that way for several hours. And so what this does is it removes that cooldown so that you don't have to worry about it doing that. Crystal Finder, it just makes them glow brighter. You can see in one of my other videos, I think it was the fast credits early, and you can see how they glow in the game. That is strictly because I have very poor vision, and so I can't hardly see the little white twinkle that they've got in the game for crystals, no matter what my gamma is set on. So I use this to be able to find the crystals. Early SATA just allows me to be able to buy the Singularity Engine Time Accelerator instead of having to wait hours and hours and hours or days to stumble upon all the components. The Earl King Unlimited is kind of like the Astrid. It allows me to buy it. It's actually in the game. It's called Earl King 2. It allows you to buy it at a shipyard. Thing is, though, you actually have to go to the regular default in-game Earl King, board it, and be able to get the engine stuff and all that before you can do this. And it still takes the high military license to get it. So you got to be a plus 20 or above with your reputation to get it anyway, to get it even though it's buyable. And then it also bypasses the stupid where you can only have one thing. Abandoned Ship Explorer, that's simply what it is. You can take a little bitty ship, one pilot, one gun, and have him run around the universe, and he will find abandoned ships. Some of them are default in the game. Others will be where the AI were fighting and somebody bailed, because they will do that, and they leave the ship abandoned. And then if you stock this dude up with nav beacons, he'll drop a nav beacon there. Map Fix. When 5.0 came out, I believe it was 5.0, it took it so that when you zoom out on the map, all your ships and stuff vanished. You couldn't see it unless you were zoomed way in on the map. This just reverses that, so you can see it where everything's at. More asteroids, simply what it says. Gives more asteroids so we don't deplete the systems real fast. More NPCs? Exactly. All it does is add more NPCs to the stations and all that. Makes it a little bit easier to find higher naturally tiered up pilots and marines and stuff like that. Now, you gotta be careful because this will give you some whoppers. I've got a picture in an old playthrough of Cradle of Humanity where I run into a 4-star pilot for 700 million credits. So they're not cheap. Rare mod parts sold. This, some people consider this a cheat. I don't. What it does is it allows you to buy the mod parts to modify your ship's weapons and engines and all that at traders. Sector satellites. Another one self-explanatory. You can send a little ship around a sector and it'll drop satellites everywhere. Sell SATA. This will allow you to sell your extra SATAs so you don't end up with 20, 30 of them in your inventory. Player logos. This just gives me a whole bunch of new logos that I can choose for my in-game faction. And X4 Unitism is a sector mod. It adds 15 additional sectors to the game. So, like this, these are mostly just quality of life stuff for me. Some of them can be considered cheats. Like I said, it's pretty much up to a person on their feelings about mods or extensions and what they do or do not want to use. Personally, I try not to use any mods in a game until I've played through at least once. Unless there's like some major bugs and somebody comes out with a fix to fix those bugs, or like with the crystal stuff where I can't just physically, it's real difficult for me to see stuff. Then, stuff like that. But I'm not real big on having mods that bring in different ships from other sci-fi movies, like, Star Wars ships into the X universe and all that. I'm not real fond of that. I don't care for that too much. But that's player individual, because X4 is a single player game. You can pretty much do whatever you want, and it doesn't affect anybody else out there. So, if you don't mind using mods, Steam has made it real easy. You find a mod you like, and if it's compatible with this version of the game, you click subscribe and restart your game, and there it is. You can come in here to the extensions, make sure it says on, and that's it. Now, I can actually turn any of these off that I want, reboot the game, and that mod is now turned off until I turn it back on. You may have to resave the game because your save is dependent on that mod. So, if you do that, you just jump in, get a clean save, and then you can reload that save and go on, and everything's good. So I hope this clears some things up for some of you that have not used mods or are not real familiar with them in the X universe and what I've done and why I've chose to do it. So with all that said, hey, this is Old Man Gib. Do me a favor, reach down there and hit that like button. Click to subscribe if you would, and leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. If there's a mod, a quality of life mod or something that you really enjoy that I don't have, hey, throw it in down there in the comments and I'll take a look at it. In the meantime, y'all have a wonderful Monday, and I will catch you in the next one.